Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our final game of the day between Hanoi Full Lewis as well as BKT. Flavors and Chris here to bring you that after what I myself was surprised to be quite a surprising game one, I have to say.
Yeah, and I think the best way to summarize it at the end of game one, of course, we were talking about it, is the lane swap did not pay off for BKT whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, there were just no ROIs, no return of investments. There didn't seem to be a game plan as well. There was that, I want to, give credit where it's due, where Valen, did move preemptively to help out G4 in the mid lane, knowing that the 4 or 5 members of Hanoi Full Lewis had just taken Dragon. It's quite possible that it collapsed. But he wanders off, and at that exact moment, Hanoi Full Lewis members collapse, burn G4's flash, so that's kind of a, null point there.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's 2 members sitting on top of a ward, right? So really, BKT didn't get anything out of the lane swap that they initiated, which does cast a bit of doubt on, really how far ahead is BKT in terms of a team with regards to the other teams, despite them getting out of group stages, group stage 1 with an unblemished record. Really, how far ahead are they?
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, in terms of playing the standard game itself, they might look good.
Yeah.
And playing against the weaker teams, they might look like they can close games relatively quickly. But League of Legends is more of that. You got to have different strategies installed. And they were the ones. The thing that surprised me is that they were the ones to initiate that lane swap.
And yet get nothing out of it.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it's respect over to LeBlanc because it was a LeBlanc versus Irelia matchup. Maybe they wanted to just let Warlock in that situation get the best out of it. Not let Warlock get him harassed out of lane. What he could do is why not just lane swap the solo laners? Why would you want to lane swap, the bomb lane duo? Because when you have that, in that composition itself, they had the Janna and Silver lane going up against the Corki and Leona. They could just do fine by themselves.
Yeah, it was definitely a strange state of affairs, and Hanoi Full Lewis just came into the game looking more prepared. Correct. With a composition that honestly is easier to pull off. That's another thing that, it sounds like a very kind of elementary point of analysis, but if you look at the composition that Hanoi Full Lewis put together, it was Maokai lock somebody down, you can't miss that stun. Pantheon stun somebody, you can't miss that. Leona has all the time in the world to land her stuns that she can wait, she can use her Zenith Blade and her Q, her Shield of Daybreak, on the person that's still being locked up, and then wait for her Solar Flare, right? We saw that multiple times, just because there's so much, CC that you can't even miss. Yeah. You kind of wait until people have flashed away, have used their dashes to create the initial distance, and once those escape mechanisms are down, boom, there's the game-winning, Solar Flare or the game-changing Solar Flare. And if that wasn't bad enough, you've got the LeBlanc, right? Which King of War went absolutely mad on, especially in the mid and late game portions.
Yeah, that's right. So we have a bit of a delay on the tournament side of things. Not sure what's going on. We'll get news to you once we know what's going on. But we're going to show you a few infographics that's being prepared. Did show those in week 1, day number 1 as well. So quickly, just a quick recap for the teams who will be playing in this current state of the tournament. It would be, of course, Bangkok Titans, Unfought Ultimate, Hanoi Full Lewis, and Zotac 269. 2 of those we have seen earlier tonight in a 1-1 split. And what will be the result of this one, we'll have to wait until the next game to find out. And of course, the other side would be Saigon Jokers, ISU Legends, Aces Fate, as well as Saigon Fantastic 5.
Yeah, and an interesting... Oh, actually, we just moved away from that. Never mind, I'll get back to it if there's time. Talking about the contested champions at the moment. Jarvan, we saw, just being played, and it does seem like the nerfs have hit him, have hurt his effectiveness, to be very frank. Lissandra still making it onto the ban list very, very frequently. Janna, after the changes, still very, very popular, although I do have to say that's often been kind of fixed up a little bit due to just Sivir being picked up right alongside her. Again, to questionable effectiveness. Gnar honestly has fallen off quite a bit in this group stage too. I mean, we are only about 3 days in. There's still a lot of time for this group stage to grow and teams to develop strategies with champions and all. But Hecarim, right? Hecarim's been kind of the story, the new kid on the block that maybe not the most contested, but definitely being, highly valued nevertheless.
Would you say Hecarim is the dark horse
of
the champion?
The prize pony?
The prize pony on the side.
So many things to say. The mystical unicorn.
Yeah, so I mean, this is just some of the contested champions that has sort of made their way in the GPL. Wouldn't be surprised if at the end of Group Stage 2 we have those numbers kind of shuffled out a little bit. And coming back to this particular infographic, I think you have something to talk about the teams.
Yeah, so just to give a bit more meaning to a lot of these numbers that are kind of flying in our viewers' faces, BKT versus Hanoi Fluis, the match we just watched, take a look at their, not only the KDA, but their gold per minute. You can see quite the vast difference between these two teams. So, that's why I was surprised when Hanoi Fluis, managed to, honestly speaking, it wasn't a close game after the first team fight broke out. It was just mistakes from Hanoi Fluis that actually allowed BKT to just get breathing room, but never actually take active steps of their own to win the game. It's more just about delaying kind of their death. And that's why it stands out, right? There's almost an 8.0 difference in their KDA, almost a 200 gold per minute score between these guys. Yet we were seeing things like, 100 CS differentials you were calling out, just such clean, decisive fights from Hanoi Fluis. But here's the kicker, right? BKT also got smashed quite decisively by Alpha Ultimate day 1 of Group Stage 2. And then in Game 2, they come back absolutely roaring, truly on the back of GeForce Cassiopeia, which I don't think he'll get his hands on, but I wonder, do they have more tricks up their sleeve?
Yeah, we'll see if that's going to be the case. And I think that's what's making the competition so unique in the sense you can never really predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll wait until the game roll out for a while. And currently we still have a bit of a delay on the tournament side. Not too sure what's going on there. So we'll have a couple of more seconds or a couple more minutes to actually talk about some of the top performers that has come into Group Stage number 2. LY41 being one of those guys. Of course, Rumble was one of his old favorites. And 2 of those guys are playing tonight, Lloyd and Velen, of course. So far not looking like the top performer that they are kind of doubted. And of course, Starfall also one of the other guys to sort of join the top performing tables here. And of course, you have the other members, Uzi and Optimus joining the ranks as well. So I believe after Group Stage number 2, this is gonna switch it up as well. But the main point being, BKT does look like they are a pretty strong contender at the end of Group Stage 1, just not yet turning out in the first week of the tournament.
That's right, and it's interesting to see those champions that they favor. I'm trying to rack my mind. I don't think favorite champion translate to most played, but I wonder if some of these champions really have fallen out of favor. BKT Lloyd's, his Lucian. I mean, it's still making it onto, again, these are Group Stage 1 infographics, so they might be slightly dated. Graves and Leona, I actually want to see this combination a bit more. I think Corky and Leona actually did quite a good job. In the sense that Leona with her passive, the Sunlight proc, actually adds, that great amount of, well, I wouldn't say great amount, but a good amount of magic damage. Corky already has that, which is why I like the Graves-Leona combination a bit more, because Graves is, mostly, just pure burst from the physical side, and then the Sunlight helps a little bit more if they itemize purely, armor. Very, very aggressive lane. Whereas Tristana Janna, Lucian Janna, it's quite passive. It's more of the farm kind of game, and honestly doesn't make for fun watching. So, he got CS. He got CS. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I expect this, combination to change quite a fair bit at the end of Group Stage 2. And the thing about all this as well is we do see a lot of changes coming in, and it all probably revolves around the meta game. And the one thing that has sort of come up is that a lot of teams are moving away from the late game scaling compositions.
Yeah.
So we do see Tristana kind of just removed completely from competitive play. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long wait. We apologize for that, but we are here now in Champions Flag. Hanoi Fluis on the blue side, of course. Huge momentum swinging their way after that first victory that they picked up tonight.
I would say so.
And let's see what's going to be the pick and ban phase going to be for them. Cassiopeia and Hacker being taken out, very similar to game number 1. BKT heavy focus on the junglers this time around, taking out both Rek'Sai as well as the Lee Sin. We'll see if they stick to the gunter and ban out the Lissandra this time around.
Yeah, I wonder with Hecarim, Lissandra, and Maokai every now and then getting a ban toss, something that I've seen work quite well in solo queue, and sometimes even in some scrims, that I find online. Admittedly not by the, the most popular teams.
Ooh.
Is the Swain actually in the top lane. And I mentioned this mostly because of your point where you said that they don't wait until they go to the really, really late game. they go for those mid-game brawls where it's just 5v5. A lot of the times it's, about who's got a lot of AoE damage, who's got some good sustain. Maokai, features all of that. And then, of course, the team fighting presence where you can affect more than one member. Swain actually does a lot of that. I've been wondering if he's going to make his entrance onto the competitive scene anytime soon. And I think Hecarim's kind of stealing the spotlight right now.
Yeah.
If he keeps getting banned and, Maokai maybe gets his numbers tweaked a little bit, I have a feeling, we might see Swain. But that's all conjecture. What we're seeing right now is that Jarvan picked up first, this time by Hanoi for Lewis.
Yeah, and honestly, the thing about picking this Jarvan as well is that previously we would always say that the Jarvan pick will most likely go into the jungle.
Yeah.
But if you've been recently watching, LCS and especially on the European side, you have to factor the possibility of that Jarvan going up in the top lane. Yeah, because the thing is with the current nerfs to Jarvan, might not be the most efficient in the jungle itself.
Yeah.
And if you put Jarvan in a position where he can actually farm out in lane, he can do a lot of things with that goal.
Sure. Jarvan top, Jarvan mid. I mean, we've seen it time and time.
Jarvan support.
Jarvan, I don't know about that one.
Pretty far-fetched.
That one's a little bit crazy, but definitely Jarvan with gold. I mean, his Dragonlance with the armor shred, absolutely insane. And his passive as well. If you're talking about a top lane melee to melee kind of thing where you have to walk right up to the melee minion to whack it. You smack your spear in the guy's face and suddenly his health bar disappears. It's a great feeling. Lissandra has made it through the bans though. I mean, you guys saw it in the infographic. Pretty much banned or picked, 90+% of the time. So Hanoi for Lewis will be very, very happy to pick this up.
Yeah, and I have to say this is almost the perfect pick and ban phase for Hanoi for Lewis so far. Lissandra left open, of course, is just a great choice because she can go up into the top lane or into the mid lane, and likewise for Jarvan, can go into the jungle, can go into the top lane. So effectively, they're not giving anything away whatsoever. Then they are forcing BKT to show their hand before anything else. They do have the Maokai though, and kind of Warlock's old favorite in that one. He tends to perform better when he's on this, this tanky utility style top laners.
Yeah.
And Lloyd does get his hands on the Crocky this time around. We'll see what they eventually chooses to wrap things around with.
I really like the Sivir pickup in the second rotation by Hanoi for Lewis, especially after seeing the Maokai first being picked up, because it shows Hanoi for Lewis respecting the strength of the composition that they just ran, which is the ease at which Maokai can just lock somebody down.
Yeah.
And if you have the Sivir to speed him up, right, that's even more fearsome, right? Disengaging from that is an absolute pain. So rather than, on top of that point, rather than just stacking the Sivir and say Janna and being so scared of that, they take away the Sivir, which kind of disables them, and they pick up the Lissandra, which got through. So a fantastic kind of second rotation pickup coming out from Hanoi for Lewis. Really, really happy with that. But BKT, like we said, what kind of tricks do they have? Hey, this Rengar could cause a lot of problems for Hanoi for Lewis.
The 7X, if I cast my memory back into the group stage 1, did have a pretty unique game on Rengar. Did quite well for himself, and it was kind of the time I was casting with J-Storm. We were kind of drawing this conclusion that he does pretty well in the jungle. Just don't let him play Elise and he'll be fine. Yeah. If you've seen his Elise games,
don't let him play against Elise.
Just don't let him play Elise.
Noted.
He does pretty well on most of the other junglers out there.
What is this? My goodness. Once again, I just have to say, what is going on? We have Cho'Gath being picked up. I can only assume that is going up into the top lane to match the sustain kind of strength that Maokai has, as well as a bit of counterplay to, Maokai. Again, I was just talking about this. The AoE that comes in, Cho'Gath's got AoE silence, AoE knockup. That's what you really need when it comes to these mid-game brawls where, nobody's really at 6 items. A lot of it is base damages, just being amplified a little bit. G4, this is the guy that after being defeated by Anfal Ultimate was like, no, I've got to get my A game on, and he brought out the crazy Cassiopeia. We said he looked shaky on the Ezreal, right? Recall that game. That was game 1 against Anfal Ultimate. He did look a little bit shaky on that Ezreal. We have to be honest. Maybe he's tightened it up, but in the space of Thursday, Friday, about 2.5 days.
Yeah.
It's a tall task.
And he looks like he might want to run that teleport as well. A bit skeptical about that one.
Shoot the true shot barrage and then the swag TP.
I don't know if you want to do that in a pro game, man. I mean, looks cool and all, but no way.
Oh man, he's got 20 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like we're wrong too. It is not gonna be that
Interesting.
Lysandra in the mid lane, but Cho'Gath in the mid lane, and looks like Hanoi Fuluis is breaking all limits tonight. You know, just sending every single tanky member into the mid lane.
They're going full Lewis, baby.
Yeah, man.
Oh, this is crazy.
But to their credit, I have to say, you know, they do look pretty good with that whatever it is in the mid lane that Shin is running with. So
what
if
is
it works,
that? What
why
is
not?
that thing? Ugh. Maokai, what's a tree doing in the mid lane?
Whatever strategy it is, you know, it looks like it's working out for them.
That's right.
Yeah, but chance of redemption though for Bangkok Titans.
Yeah, and we do see that G4 is like, TP, who uses that spell?
And Warlock's like, hey man, what's up with that?
Alright, so
Yeah.
G4 will indeed be using the Cleanse spell. And as we are streaming live from our Southeast Asia server, or rather our Singapore server here, we are dealing with the 3-minute spectator delay. So I believe we have some videos compiled by the Vietnamese production team for the teams which made it through. So here we have one of Hanoi Fuluis.
That's right, so a quick highlight, and of course the thing about the Hanoi Fuluis team is that whenever they do get a hit, it's really entertaining to watch them play. They do
Very
some
true.
of the craziest stuff that one can imagine, but sometimes they just doesn't quite add up. So this is one of the times where it actually does do pretty well for themselves. And of course in the top lane we do have their captain Violet here. Looks pretty good on his own. One of the veterans, of course, SOFM, the other guy.
Yeah, this is, I think we should explain to our viewers why there's kind of 2 or 3 junglers and 2 or 3 mid laners.
Huge team.
Yeah. Hanoi Fuluis, as you'll see once kind of their team portrait comes out, they have a sizable squad.
Yeah, and I think after today they have to kind of swap out the whole roles thing again, because like you can see in the feature video, right? King of War was originally the jungler, Violet was originally in
There
the
you
top
have it.
lane.
Yeah.
But there you go. Yeah, it's a I can't math.
8.
Yeah. 8-member squad, kind
Yo.
of rotating around, but the
We-
current squad looks like they're doing pretty well for themselves. So we'll be
Yeah.
expecting great results coming from these guys.
And I'm very excited for the composition that they put together again, in the sense that game number 1 was kind of the overall just a very, very solid composition, right? It's very easy to play even on the professional level. A lot of skills that, you don't have to aim, not skill shots, point and click stuns, a lot of solid lockdown. This time around, it's a little more mishmash, I have to say, because in a sense, Jarvan, especially with the nerfs, even if you have the Sivir Speed and Lysandra, these aren't 2 champions that are extremely tanky, but they have zone control, right? And that's what Cho'Gath brings as well. You've got, I don't want to list out all the spells, but just Cataclysm being one of them, and then of course the Frozen Tomb. Basically the ultimates coming out from these 2, and then the AoE spells from Cho'Gath. I think we should see, if Hanoi Fuluis goes Fuluis for these crazy, crazy team fights, if they can land and create zones very well, I think we're going to see some very, very, sweet, sweet team fights, right? We saw that in game number 1. In game number 2, it's going to be harder to pull off, which means the payoff will be even more satisfying if they do.
And it's a fantastic time, or rather a fantastic team comp for them to try to do so against as well, because if you look at what BKT has right now, they do have that double AD comp going for them. So essentially when you go to the mid to late game team fights, what you want as an AD composition is someone to stand in front to soak up damage, because you gotta take time to auto attack, right? It's not like a huge burst of damage and okay, that's it. The team fight's over.
Exactly.
Not quite the case. You need time to peel back, to kite around, to land those auto attacks, get those spell rotations off. What better way to do that than with with all this AoE crowd control that you mentioned earlier, just blocking BKT from doing so.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see how precise Hanoi Fuluis is with the creation of the zones in the team fights. And like you said, on the other hand, BKT, what can they do to buy enough time for their double AD carries to unload all the damage? Because one thing going in their favor, especially if Cho'Gath builds more AP orientated, even if it's a Route of Ages, is there is no true tank on the side of Hanoi Fuluis. I do think that SOFM will go tanky after his Warrior Enchantment, but remember, Corki compositions, they go for that mid-game power spike. SOFM, might not have those items to be that tanky at the mid-game point in time. Whoa, Shin!
Yeah,
Did you not just see them? What?
And the Dark Binding as well. That is an easy first blood going over to Bangkok Titans.
Yo, he was grabbing a bowl of pho or something, man. His teammate just placed the ward and spotted the entire squad coming down.
Yeah, what's up with that,
What
man?
was up with that? Man.
Okay, that's two ways that could be. Either number one, he was not paying attention,
Or he was eating a
number
bowl.
two, there was a like a BM sort of a thing. It's like, oh, you know what? We took game one. I'm just gonna give it one kill, a handicap to start you guys with.
What? And of all things, it goes onto the AD carry we were just talking about.
Yeah,
The Corki that wants to reach that mid-game power spike. So, very directed BM. It's like, even if it's that guy, we could still win.
Yeah, you can have that, you know, whatever.
All right, so.
I also have to say,
Yes.
during the pick and ban phase, I'm not sure if you caught on that. I had a little grin because Valen kind of hovered over Sona. I thought we are finally going to see our first DJ Sona skin being played in the GPL.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. One more.
Are you kidding me?
Point blank miss on that death sentence for Starfall, but a lot of damage though from Violet, and in fact, it's doing a lot of work.
Oh man, this game has already gone Fulu.
SOFM, you're gonna try to take away the blue buff and deny that away from BKT. Looks like
Nobody cares about laning. There's 5 people in the jungle.
Yeah, just abort laning phase.
Warlock's like, hey guys, are we still playing ranked? What's going on?
It's like, well, I'm just gonna farm up in the top lane, no problem. You guys can do whatever you're doing down at the B side. I'm just gonna take all this farm experience for myself. And after that long amount of invades and shenanigans, it looks like the lanes have finally kind of come into place here. W1D3 is a very, very set Rengar for now. Does not have the blue buff to his own name and has to take a long route around in order to take out the blue buff as SOFM escapes from the red buff.
From his own red buff, mind you. So, he is buying time for his smite. Not too sure what that was all about. Nevertheless, he should know that Rengar is visiting his, or rather, 007X is at his own red. Maybe trying to make use of the timing where Rengar is far and away to create some action. Bottom, a fantastic hook!
That's right, going on to Lloyd, and the flag and track comes down to Ballad. Looks like he might just go down, but he does blow the flash. SOFM getting a bit low there, so has to be careful. Lloyd also being, dealing a lot of damage down to Violet as well. Starfall gonna be there to back up his early carry for now. A little pause coming into place here.
I was not ready, and I'm still not ready for how quickly this game went Fuluis. First of all, we have the 5 men in the jungle by Fuluis. Then we have SOFM running away from his own red. Then we have SOFM almost dying to a turret shot. And now we have a pause. It's like, I think...
It's time for the players to chill out.
They're like, what is going on? This game is too crazy.
Alright, should this game go into the late game? Alright. Because I'm looking at the screen right now, this pause screen.
Sure.
And I see Shin on my screen.
Yeah.
He's playing Cho'Gath, right?
Yeah.
So have you ever considered the possibility that when Shin gets that 6 stack on that feast, that he gets the Elixir of Iron? I'm not sure if you have seen the movie Pacific Rim, but he's going to be League of Legends Summoner's Rift version of a kaiju. Yeah.
It's like a class like 50 or something. Does it go up to 10? I'm not sure.
I think it's class 5 that was the one.
I'm sorry. Okay, I totally lost it because I just I don't know, man. I couldn't recall the class system, but okay, class 5 plus plus. So yeah. I mean, you know, and actually the physics in the game, when Cho'Gath gets bigger, he eats more skill shots. True, it's true. So Dark Bindings, Missiles, Ezreal Qs, those are, I mean, even Bolas, I mean...
I think by then he's not going to care. It's like, oh, that tickles.
Yeah.
And just going to walk away from there.
Alright, so apparently some of the players on the side of Hanoi Fuluis are experiencing a bit of connection issues. Called out a bit of lag issues, so that's what we're waiting for, folks.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I think it's high time to sort of reveal the sort of composition BKT has as well. You know, we talked a lot about Hanoi Fuluis and how they are good enough in the sense that they can stack their AoE crowd controls onto each other and, you know, sort of create this humongous zone to fight in the battlegrounds.
Yeah.
But how about BKT? You know, what are the strengths and what's the best ideal sort of stuff that they can work with?
Well, as with all double AD compositions, especially, or rather one that runs with the Corki, you definitely have a very, very strong mid-game spike. And of course, if we see G4 play the Ezreal mid as we have seen it been used in the double AB compositions, I want to say, which is namely to use your ultimate for shoving side waves, what that allows you to do is create pressures in at least 2 lanes, right? Because the Ezreal ulti will clear and push minions in one lane, and then the lane in which the Corki has to be attended to by Hanoi Full Lewis. So that gives them a lot of, manipulation of the map, a lot of map control. But they have to play it right, because this is one of the criticisms we had of G4 in when he played this Ezreal on day 1 of the GPL Group Stage 2, just on Wednesday, which was that he was holding on to his ultimates for so long, even going, with the CDR boots. And that might show a little bit of hesitance, a little bit of maybe, maybe a lack of confidence for his team to play around that strategy, because when you clear side waves, it takes time for that plan, to come into fruition. It's not something that immediately the payoff is available. You have to work around timings. You've got to work around, precise rotations. And as we saw from the initiation of the lane swap with 0 return of investment from BKT, it might be something that they're not quite ready for.
Yeah, so we're kind of informed that it's going to take a while for the teams to load back up. So we'll go for a quick video break and we'll come back into the game as soon as it is available. So don't go away. We'll be coming right back after these technical issues are resolved.
A summoner has reconnected.
Submit to my designs. All will soon change. Join the glorious evolution. With utmost efficiency.
Chosen of the moon. This is necessary. They leave me no choice. The moon will rise. The night will last forever. Twilight fade!
So much death. My hands are stained. Burdens of the past. Leave doubt behind. It must come to pass. My spirit is not lost. I am awakened. Sacrifices must be made.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Looks like the connection difficulties and the lag for Hanoi Full Lewis have stopped. SOFM, oh my goodness, going so aggressive right now. Gets the heal, so he's not going to drop immediately, but replied in like by Lloyd. Looks like it's a 1-for-1. Lloyd is actually still doing a good amount of damage to Violet, just trying to zone him away. Smart move there.
And Lloyd does have the blue buff as well. Look out for G4 on the back end though. Starfall taking so much damage. Lloyd gonna Valkyrie in for this one. Gets the kill off of that. And he's now on a killing spree. So on top of that one kill that he secured very early on, he gets 2 more. And 3-1 on at the 4-minute mark is a great sign to have. And of course, the blue buff as well. Double 7X looking to focus. On the top lane does have that 5 charges. So he will have that lockdown. Is he going to go for it? And he gets the lockdown as well.
Ooh.
Warlock is going to pick up that kill. So a bit of assist up in the top lane. BKT coming strong in this game with that 4-1 lead.
Yeah, I really not too sure what to make of the over-aggressive play in the bottom side from, you know, the three members of Hanoi Fuluis right there. I mean, for one, if they were trying to bait, you know, the dual lane to fight with the heal bait, you gotta understand that Lloyd has heal as well. And that was answered, you know, just as easily, or, you know, I don't know, it's just very, very strange. Just honestly not too much to say. Nice flex shield by Valen to block the knockup right there.
And even the death sentence as well, but is he gonna get flayed back in? Yes, he is gonna be. But not enough damage on the side of SOFM and Starfall to follow through, but a pretty close call for Valen right there.
Nope, let's cast our minds back to that BM death of Shin right there.
Hey, come on, man.
Yo, he might.
It is a possibility, you know.
It's a possibility, but look at where that possibility has led, Chris. 3-0-0 at 5.5 minutes.
With a 20 CS lead.
Oh my goodness. I mean.
Okay. Well, if it was a BM giveaway, he better regret his decision now.
It's like, success!
And then it is also going to be Starfall as well.
This is a nice move by Hanoi for Lewis, though.
Shin is going to join around this one as well. Looks like Hanoi for Lewis does have a very strong grasp of the you know, momentum, or rather the timings to go for this very early dragons without losing out too much. You know, shove out the wave and go for the dragon as quickly as possible. Perhaps capitalizing off the fact that Valen was kind of forced away, so they know that, okay, there's no ward around the area, let's try to go for it, and they got that one off of a 3.
Yeah, they didn't have vision of Valen on the minimap, but you could see just as a team how they were playing as well. We saw King of War throw a very preemptive Path of Frost. You know, even though there's a huge minion wave coming towards him, he threw that back towards the tower the moment he saw his teammates. You know, it was most likely communicated by the rest of the team. You know, we're gonna 2-man dragon, then we're gonna pull down mid as well. So, you know, what lane could possibly the jungle visit and screw up? It's gonna be top. So play back. So nice job by Hanoi for Lewis to work around the dragon timing, or rather just the dragon opportunity, with how they wanted to play the lanes, or how they arranged their lane, I should say.
Yeah, I have to give a lot of credits to 7X right now. So even though Hanoi for Lewis did get the dragon for themselves, but SOFM wasted a lot of time at the blue side of BKT jungle. So that gave 7X a lot of opportunity to farm up and to do a bit of counter jungling. So he will take away Big Rom camp as well as the Razor Wolves as well. So right now sitting at 1 level ahead. Gonna force Sheen away from the mid lane as well. So getting soaking a bit of experience and of course putting a bit of pressure towards Sheen.
Yep, that's something that I think all League of Legends players, or all jungle League of Legends players, should take note of. Sometimes not just ganking a lane helps, you need to help them push out the lane. Like Ezreal on its own without any items, it's gonna take forever to push a lane on its own, especially when you're talking about a Cho'Gath that has all the AoE spells to push waves of his own. If you want your laner to back in peace and not lose map pressure in terms of, you know, tower HP, you know, be a responsible jungler. Help your lanes push out.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole general rule of thumb for if you want to just improve your gameplay here. It's what's the rule that we always emphasize is always buy wards. It's the same thing for junglers. And thinking about junglers, we will have both of them meeting in up at the Razor Big camp here. SFM kind of charging into the wrong direction here. G4 is gonna pick that kill up for themselves, and once again extending the kill lead here, and of course the goal count as well. I'm not sure what's going on, man.
SOFM is so next level for Lewis. Runs away from his own red buff. It's like, I'm safe. Maybe I should go take the Raptor camp in the enemy camp without any backup.
Maybe he's kind of thinking that he's still in game number 1 where he's supposed to play on the red side, so he's charging towards the red side.
He's like, I'm safe here, aren't I? It's my home.
Yeah, so not quite getting the result as he wanted earlier, of course. Right now it is 7X getting 3 assists out of kills that have happened so far, so gonna stack that trinket nice and easy. And in fact, it's of course his new passive coming in, of course. No more Bone Tooth Necklace.
That's right.
It's now an innate buff.
this is very interesting by Shin's build though. He's going for the Morella Nomicon. Quite interesting. Most Cho'Gaths opt for the very, very safe as well as just solid choice of the Rod of Ages. I mean, gives Cho'Gath everything he needs with regards to him being more of a bruiser, you know, melee type of mage character. But made me feeling a little bit of the heat, just saying, you know, I really need to be able to 100-0 somebody. Oh, they catch out Starfall.
That's right, down the bottom lane. Starfall looks like he has nowhere to run. Who's going to be the one to pick up the kill? Not dead yet, but Lloyd on the back end does get the kill. And right now it is going to be King of War getting jumped out of position right here. 7X is going to get their 5th charge. No, not quite yet. Venom picks up the kill on Shin on the back end, and Warlock is going to use the sapling to secure the final pick of damage on the King of War for some more kills. And a huge missile lands on top of Violet. And will they get an ace off of this? SOFM still alive though. Where's the Arcane Shift? The slow gonna come down. Oh! Gonna get taken down. On the air itself, G4, will he be able to survive this one? Valen doing a great job as his support to soak up the minion aggro. A delayed ace coming through from Bangkok Titans. 10-1 at the 10-minute mark.
That's gotta be a thug life moment right there. Demacia! Oh man, beautiful by
Pretty
G4.
cool stuff. Pretty cool
that was neat. I can imagine that being kind of the highlight moment of an action movie, where the prince is coming in. It's like
and he just gets shot
out of the sky. My goodness.
Yeah, that's right.
Good job by BKT, pretty much picking up the ace like you said at 11 minutes in. And you know what, Chris? I feel like this is an apt time to ask the all-important question in the GPL.
What is going on?
Exactly. What is going on? Because in game number 1, Hanoi Full Lewis, yes, they were playing aggressive. If not, I want to say even more aggressive than in game number 2. But the aggression here, while it's, you know, the irony is it's a lot less aggressive, but the times when they're choosing to go aggressive and the ways in which they're doing it are completely off, you know? Jungle invades without any kind of mid lane support. Chasing onto, you know, oh my goodness. Nope.
SOFM getting caught out once again. 7X picks up the kill.
Oh man.
You know, it's a bit early to call it, but if Bangkok Titan wins this game, they will be the exact opposite of Unfought Ultimate.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfought Ultimate is always the team to win the first match. Looks like BKT will be the second one, and Shin trying to dodge out.
Oh,
but will
man.
have not enough health to survive the pokes and the auto attacks coming through from G4. And you know, this time around he's doing relatively well. In fact, very well.
Very well. Yeah.
On this Ezreal pick right here.
Although I think there's kind of a caveat or a disclaimer that we must tell our viewers something is up with SOFM this game. Really, there's just many things that is just very, very strange. First off, he gets the help of his entire team to get the enemy's blue buff.
Yep.
Goes over to his red, and you know I make fun of it, but yeah, he runs away from it. All right, it
Tries
looks
to
like
go for the smite steal. Okay, at least he gets the dark passage.
yeah, he Lloyd gets
Lloyd.
caught now. Goodbye, Lloyd.
Yeah, that's right. He getting too comfortable there. Gonna get punished for that one. So that shutdown goal is gonna go over to SOFM. But in the meantime, though, we did get Bangkok Titans taking away the dragon. So the major objective is not lost on their end.
Yeah. So I play the jungle a lot in solo queue, so I just want to point out certain things that I think should be communicated to any discerning League of Legends player. In solo queue, it's quite rare where, you know, any member from your team helps you be on a leash. If you have your entire team help you, there's this unspoken rule, bro. We need you to help out. You know, there's got to be, again, a return of investment, right? But he runs away from his own red buff, goes for an overly aggressive play onto the bottom lane, gets killed, and like, how is that in any way a return of investment? It's not. So SOFM, I feel, has really actually affected his fellow laners, or the laners on his team, more so than we're seeing. And of course, all credit to G4 as well as the rest of BKT to say, well, the game is just really easy for us in our lanes then. Every single lane is winning. Simply put, every single lane is winning.
Yeah, that's right. And speaking about return on investments, pretty good job from Valen right there. Like what we saw a couple of seconds ago, just stacking up that wave, making sure that Lloyd does not miss out too much of that wave itself. As well, we can see it's almost a 50 CS lead coming through from Lloyd. G4's already completed on his own end as well.
Wow.
And on the back end, Warlock's gonna just chase out onto SOFM. And here comes the thrill of the hunt from 7X to help out as well. but it is going to be a Warlock picking up the kill. And on the bottom side, Lloyd goes 1-1 against Violet right here and picks up the kill just like that.
Alright, Hanoi for Lewis are falling apart. It's almost a 10,000 goal lead at 15 minutes in. Honestly, a mirror image of game number 1. Except it's not the same team. So in terms of, a bit more kind of meta analysis, I am going to reserve judgment. Again, it's early on into group stage 2. There is a possible argument to make of, teams kind of trying out things, being more aggressive with their playstyle. But, with these kinds of differences, these kind of margins, 10,000 goal leads at 50 minutes in, honestly, it's a bit of a stretch even to give them that benefit of doubt.
Yeah. And more so, it's teams making mistakes than outplaying their opponents.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the teams in the current group stages, they really need to clean up the act a little bit if they want to be more consistent on their table standings here. So right now it's going to be SOFM spotting Warlock out. Velen is around the area as well. So we'll see if Hanoi is going to capitalize off of that.
Oh dear.
SOFM is going to get caught out once again. Double 7X picks that one out. King of War still staying around the Warlock, soaking up a lot of damage for his fellow jungler here. The shutdown does go over to Violet, but that's before the rest of BKT is looking to collapse off of that. G4 is now in the battle right here, but I think Hanoi for Lewis will choose to back off for now. Still a 9,000 goal lead for Bangkok Titans, so Hanoi for Lewis are not out of trouble just yet.
4,000, oh, not 4,000, excuse me. Yeah, as you said, the goal difference almost about 10,000. And 4 turrets to none on the side of Hanoi for Lewis. I mean, this is looking really rough, and maybe a trend that we can kind of keep an eye on as the group stage 2 progresses here in the GPL is, Alpha Ultimate kind of gave us a hint at this, or maybe a little bit of insight to this, which is how well do some of these teams honestly play from behind? Do they have plan Bs? Do they have backup plans? Do they have a plan, if their lane swap kind of goes down the drain, if they get nothing out of it, what are their versions of backups, of contingency? Because what we're seeing is when they execute a game plan, it looks really good, right? They get a massive lead. Okay, Lloyd doesn't have his flash. Oh, he has his flash available. Doesn't even need it, actually. Okay, Lloyd's just 3v1ing.
Yeah, he's just turning things around. The BF doing a lot of work for him right now. He single-handedly just drives away 3 members on the side of Hanoi for Lewis, and right now Double 7X fight in an awkward position. Will force him back for a little bit. Warlock is looking to join him as well. G4 on the back end, looking to deal some damage onto the B status. Cho'Gath right now is going to take the Dark Passage into safety. And he's still chasing though on the back end. Does take a fair bit of damage more, and it's going to be King of War who needs to flash over the wall, but is only going to be the sacrificial lamb in play. And Lloyd even flashes into the base to secure the kill.
Oh man, wow.
Wow, bloodthirsty 80 carries coming
Maokai
in.
bodyguard. Yeah, baby.
That's right. From both G4 and Lloyd in that case.
Yeah. I would not be surprised to see the surrender coming out unless there's a bit of a morale boost, maybe a complacency kill or 2 in the next 2 minutes. But this actually ties in very well with my comment on how well do teams play from behind, as a contrast to how well they play when they actually do get, their win conditions underway and everything syncs up for them. So we saw, right, not only the first blood going in favor of Lloyd, but the 2 kills, and then just getting that massive power spike just meant that the game plan for BKT was made so easy, and look at how, how great the margin of their victory is. But
Violet getting caught in once again. Double 7X taking a lot of damage, so he's going to fall to Violet in that case. A lot a bit late to the party here, so won't have enough damage to follow through with Double 7X's dive right there. But then again, 25 kills at the 18-minute mark.
Yeah, it's a little bit silly.
Yeah, and G4 as well as Velen's going to be at the Dragon area, push up the wave. And King of War is going to be down the bottom to try to shove out the wave as much as possible. But I think at this stage, the objectives are pretty much going to swing in Bangkok Titans' favor right here. As a G4 as well as Velen going to return down to the bottom lane. King of War not spotted out as of yet, but I think with G4 now around the area, they should be able to defend it.
Not too sure what's with all the spells being used by the members of that. I think they might have been looking for Lissandra. Anyways, not important. The point being that Lissandra wasn't able to push up the tower, as we saw once again. G4, even though he missed the wave, it seems like he's playing with a little more confidence to use his ultimate to clear the side waves. Again, it was for the dragon damage as well. But yeah, it really does seem that when some of these GPL teams, you know, execute their game plan and the win conditions start to fall into their hands, they really push the agenda, you know, very quickly. But on the flip side of the coin, when those win conditions, you know, start to falter, they don't seem to have contingency plans. They don't have backup plans. And that makes for some very, you know, jarring differences between Game 1 and Game 2. So, if anything, you know, beyond us as casters, learning from this best of 2 structure of the GPL, the teams themselves should realize, you know, we really need to be more consistent, and we need to ask ourselves why we can get smashed into the ground in Game 1 and then come back and smash in Game number 2.
Yeah, and on the back end, we do see Starfall getting collapsed down onto Double 7X. Is going to pick that kill. Nice and easy as SOFM is running towards the wrong side of the map again. It's going to take a few auto attacks to do it.
Isn't it red side
gonna-
for us? Oh, the
that
snipe.
binding. Yep, that's going to be the finishing counter to that one. Warlock is going to defend the turret against Sheen and King of War as well. Double 7X going to wrap around the corner. Going to run as quickly as he can towards the bottom side of that map.
It's the
That
most
knockup is going to...
anticlimactic chase ever. We know where this is going, Chris.
Yep, King of War is going to be taken down. The kill goes over to Lloyd in that case. As Warlock going to pick up one more kill as well. 4 more kills in the pockets of Bangkok Titans.
Alright, so Hanoi Full Lewis still clinging on defiantly to this game, even though it's a 13,000 gold lead. Of course, they can't tell, but 24-5, lads. That's insane at 21 minutes in. I honestly don't know what they're playing for, because even in their kind of dying moments, in their last breaths, if you will, there is very little coordination between the Hanoi Full Lewis squad. So, no argument to be made in terms of map movement, vision practice, or anything like that. You know, nothing technical really can be seen coming up from Hanoi Full Lewis. I mean, they just use a teleport out of base to what? A Desperation Baron? Okay.
Is this for real right now? Well, I guess there's no harm in trying to do so. They are gonna try to at least get this major objective off the map. It's gonna take a while, but
Honestly,
we do spot
BKT
about little
could
eyes,
end the
double
game, right?
7X.
and double S6 is, oh my goodness, they're so low. Oh dear.
If he does get the smite steal off of that, that's gonna be great. Valen is gonna come around on the back end as well. Both Valen and double 7X is gonna be enough to stop the Baron attempt right here. And the rest of the BKT squad is just going to be there to end the game for the squad right here, as it is going to be a very quick fire, decisive 22-minute game, 28-6 for the Bangkok Titans.
Alright, Chris, there's something to be said about Alpha Ultimate's game 2, which is like, what is going on? In like the way, and then BKT, which is like, what is going on? And like the... How did they do it, right? Because against Alpha Ultimate, it was 29-4. Right, for game number 2 for BKT, and then this one it was 28-6. My goodness.
BKT is the direct parallel of Unfad Ultimate.
The polar opposite, right?
No, actually...
The yin and yang.
Yeah, so Unfad Ultimate, so far, with whatever limited stats we have for Group Stage 2,
yeah,
they always seem to win game number 1 of their best of 2 set.
Yeah.
BKT always seem to win game number 2 of their best of 2
That's
set.
right, that's right.
What's the common thing between these two teams is that they always win on red side. Yeah, I was checking that through while, you know, while the
red
game was
side, man.
It's the red side.
Guys,
Magic.
color of Kryptonite is blue. It's not green. We've been lied to. We've been lied to.